everybody, this is the thejonnymar, and I am continuing with Pokemon Blue, my complete Pokedex journey. So my last episode, we took out the rocket hideout in Celadon City. We took out all the rockets in there, as well as found the leader of Team Rocket, which was Giovanni. And the defeat of Giovanni led to us acquiring the Sylph Scope, which is a necessary item in order to access the Pokemon Tower in Lavender Town. So all my party members are now in the low 30s, except for Diglett. No, we don't want to dig, we just want to check his stats quick. And that is because we are going to be heading into the Pokemon Tower, and we're going to be facing a lot of Ghost Pokemon in there. And Ghost Pokemon are interesting, as we have 35 owned out of the 83 seen of 151 in the game. Now that we have the Sylph Scope, we can actually see the Pokemon in the tower. If you go into the tower without the Sylph Scope and try to get into a random encounter, you will not be able to engage with the enemy. It'll say that you are unable to identify them. But before we get into the tower proper, we do have to take on our rival yet again. So let's take on Bobby in my case, and do the latest rival encounter. Yeah, my Pokemon are not dead. This is not a Nuzlocke. And I don't know if you're going to make them faint. Maybe. But I have a feeling I'm more likely to make yours faint. He starts off with Pidgeotto. So as you might expect, I'm going to start off with my Jolteon. And Thunderbolt is probably going to make very short work of this Pidgeotto. Now, the story kind of directs you towards this place well before the events of what I've done. So I've already beaten Gym 4 and also the Rocket Hideout. As we take on Gyarados here, which is an awesome Pokemon that evolves from Magikarp. Unfortunately, it is very weak to Electric because of its typing. So it is quadruple weak to Electric because of its flying and water typing. So his Pokemon are in the mid-20s, and so they're not a huge challenge for my current party, again, because I tend to skip the Pokemon Tower until we have to come here, essentially. We've exhausted all of our options, and now we need to come to the Pokemon Tower to progress the story. Because there's actually an item that you get from the Pokemon Tower that allows you to get out of the northern kind of area of the region here, and actually allows you to access the southern routes, which you'll need to do in order to get all the rest of the badges. So here we have a Kadabra, which should go down hopefully pretty quick to a Diglett. And then he has his final Pokemon, which of course is his starter, and that is Ivysaur. So we're going to try to burn it. Now we could also use Diglett and use Dig, but I would rather get the experience on our Vulpix. Remember, we're trying to get Vulpix up to level 35 as quickly as possible so that it learns Flamethrower, Leech Seed, eh? That'll really help you out in this battle after I kill you in 2 hits. So then I can evolve it into Ninetales. And now we're leveling up to 32, so only 3 more levels to go. Hopefully we'll be able to get up to 33 or maybe even 34 by the end of this tower. So our rival goes down yet again. Our Pokedex is doing alright. I haven't been catching every single Pokemon that I've encountered, but we do have a good set so far. And I feel pretty good about our long-term prospects here as well. Now he notes catching a Cubone, which is available in the Pokemon Tower, although it is a pretty rare encounter. It's actually not the rarest encounter, that is a Haunter. The Cubone has a little under a 10% chance of showing up in a random encounter. So if you came here before getting the Sylph Scope, then this person is the person that will sort of cue you in that you have to find it. So remember, if you come in here without the Sylph Scope, random encounters will not work. Now I think you can still take on the trainers, as you can catch a Gastly, a Haunter, and a Cubone in here. And all the trainers are going to have Ghost Pokemon. So they're just going to have Gastly primarily, and then some of them will actually have Haunter as well. So I'm going to be not really showing most of the encounters after this one, because again, it's just going to be Gastlys over and over and over again. Now in terms of their typing, they are Poison and Ghost. Now there are no single ghost Pokemon in this game, in Gen 1, and that didn't happen until later. I think Gen 2 actually was the first generation that introduced a solo ghost typing. So they're all weak actually to Psychic as well, which makes them interesting. They're an okay Pokemon, and I do like them because they have very high special as well as speed. And I have run Gengar in the past, but I'm not sure if I'm going to run one in this particular playthrough for my Psychic, quote-unquote, because they can learn Psychic abilities as well. And their high special stat makes them very effective at using Psychic abilities, even if they don't get stabbed from it. So these trainers basically note, we've been possessed. And they act very strange. So apparently the ghost Pokemon they've been catching have been possessing them. We're going to keep switching back and forth between our Jolteon and our Vulpix to keep getting experience on them. They're the two priorities right now, although of course Squirtle is as well. So the random encounters again are just going to be Gastly primarily. About 90% of the time, it seems like you're going to see Gastly. And again, the encounters with the trainers are going to be the same. If we see anything unique, I will actually show it off. And also when I catch a Gastly, I will show it off. Hopefully we'll see a Cubone as well. But a lot of these trainers are going to have Gastlys that are in the low 20s. So you're going to see a lot of 22, 23. But also some up to levels 24 and 25 as well. There's actually only one hidden item in the Pokemon Tower, which is actually up on floor 5. So we have one more trainer on this floor, and then we'll head up to the next floor. Ghost, no! We're not the ghost. Or were you talking about your own Gastly, slowly poisoning your mind like Wormtongue from Lord of the Rings? But now we're on floor 5, and we are going to get that secret item, which is an elixir. That's pretty good. And floor 5 is also notable for having that spot there in the middle, that little square, and that is a healing square. So I guess they felt that the tower was a little too tall to do in one go. And I will agree, it is hard to do in one go without healing. Unless you just have Pokemon that are designed to take out Gastlys. So we have quite a few trainers on this floor, and then the next floor is actually the final ghost floor. And then we will have to take on also one special enemy. You were possessed. Sure you were. Which is guarding the stairs up to the final tower floor. So let's heal again. And we'll take out the last few trainers on this floor before heading up to the next one. I'm just now realizing that I should have brought some Repel with me. I forgot to. I always forget about the areas in this game that force you into encounters. The caves and this place and Victory Road. Oh well, I'll have to remember in the future to bring Repel with me. So now we're actually going to be able to encounter a Haunter, which is the second evolution of Gastly. And I believe this trainer over here by the stairs has a Haunter. As well as the one we just faced has a Haunter as well. But this Haunter is actually at a slightly higher level. So level 23. Pretty creepy looking. But we should be able to take it out with a Thunderbolt. Thundershock is probably not going to be good enough. Now to get Gengar, you actually have to trade a Haunter with someone else through the link cable, and that will force it to evolve into a Gengar. As we have the final ghost floor here. And we actually were able to catch a Gastly. So we'll add that to our Pokedex. Again, a pretty cool Pokemon, and the only ghost in Generation 1. And I will be naming it after a suggestion from a viewer. Now, unfortunately, I do not know how to pronounce this suggested name. I believe it is from an anime. Perhaps Death Note or a different anime, I'm not sure. Definitely one that I haven't seen personally. Although I haven't seen a lot of anime myself. Not a huge anime watcher, although I have watched some of it. Mainly the big ones. The ones that, you know, most people know about. Cowboy Bebop, a few others. And a guilty pleasure was to watch the Persona 4 anime as well, which was pretty good, based on one of my favorite games. Alright, so we only have one more trainer that is possessed here on this floor. And we will take her out quickly. Hair didn't fall out, it was an evil spirit. Their end of battle dialogue actually says something popped out. Alright, so another random encounter. And we're gonna save here before the steps. And let's take on that special encounter. Not this random encounter. Thanks, game, for giving me a random encounter right before the steps. Be gone, intruders! Who is it? So this is what would have showed up if you didn't have the Sylph Scope and you got into a random encounter in the tower here. And it identifies it as Marowak. So the mother of Cubone, apparently rockets have been slaughtering Marowak and maybe even Cubone for their skulls. And you're going to focus energy. Yeah, that's going to help you a lot. Let's see what you do with a ball here. Maybe we can try to catch you. No. This Pokemon cannot be caught because it is actually the soul of Marowak. So it is not a real Pokemon, it is just a ghost. Creepy. So we have to basically calm its spirit by killing it. It was the restless soul of Cubone's mother. I guess the mother of all Cubone, or just one Cubone? I don't know. I think in the anime, it was just one Cubone. But for this game's purposes, it seems like it's for all Cubones, seemingly. Because you can catch any number of them here in the tower. And then here on the top floor of the tower, we actually have some rockets. Now again, they have been hoarding Cubones and Marowaks. And then they're also holding Mr. Fuji up here hostage. Please don't use Confuse Ray. Get through it. Get through it, Vulpix. Yes. There are 3 rocket trainers. If you're playing yellow, you're actually going to take on Jesse and James again. But we're going to face the trainers instead. And they have the general assortment here of Pokemon that are typical for Team Rocket. So you're going to see Zubat and its evolutions, you're going to see Rattata and its evolutions, and you're also going to see some of the poison Pokemon as well, including Grimer perhaps, and maybe even Coughing. Here we have a Golbat. Unfortunately, for it, Thunderbolt is going to tear right through it, since it is flying type. So get that creepy face away from me. I want nothing to do with that mouth. And after each battle, the rocket runs away. Hopefully you get knocked out by the ghosts on the way down. Let's take on the second rocket encounter here. Yeah, you were harming the Pokemon? Maybe you should stop doing that, or else face the wrath of a 10-year-old. And I mentioned in my last episode that I didn't know what would happen in the rocket hideout. We take on a Coughing here. If you talk to either Giovanni or the rocket with the lift key on the space where the item spawns. And I actually went back and tried that to see what would happen. And what happens is the item still spawns even if you're standing on the spot, but it spawns underneath you. And so your character sprite is there, the item spawns underlaid your character sprite. You can't actually pick it up while you're on that spot. You have to move off of the spot, and then you can actually pick up the item. So for the rocket member that has the lift key, or for Giovanni at the end with the Sylph Scope, that's what happens if you're standing on the spot where the item will actually spawn. We have a Drowsy. Interesting. I like Drowsy. It's a little slow, so that makes it quite a bit worse than, say, Kadabra. But it's still an interesting Pokemon. Stay out of your business, huh? No, my job is to take out Team Rocket, seemingly. Since no one else is willing or able to do it. None of these adults. It's just my job, a kid's job. Although you could argue I am the greatest trainer in the world. Not currently, but someday I will be. If I tried to take on the Elite Four with my current party, I would get absolutely destroyed. But someday, my party will be leveled up and prepared to take on the Elite Four. And the Grand Champion. That didn't kill it? Well, at least it burned it, so it'll still die. Alright, last two Pokemon. Raticate, eh? Let's not take any chances. Let's switch over to our Jolteon. Now that take out the Raticate. Should be able to take it out with a Thunderbolt. Raticate does not have good special, so it doesn't have very good defense against special attacks. And then we're going to end it off in a very anticlimactic manner with a Zubat. So we'll just use Ember. That can be enough? No. And at least it didn't use Confuse Ray. That's the danger of trying to use these weaker moves on Pokemon like Zubat. They do have annoying moves like Confuse Ray or Supersonic. No, I'm gonna fight you. I'm gonna beat you all up in your Pokemon. And I'm gonna get away with it, for sure. But here at the top is Mr. Fuji. So he is the one that is actually going to give us the item that we need to progress down to the south. And that is the Pokeflute, which is an item that will actually allow us to wake up sleeping Pokemon, which are currently blocking the southern paths. So for us to be able to get past Snorlax, which there are actually two of them, blocking two routes, we need to use that Pokeflute in order to wake them up. So Mr. Fuji is going to use his magic to teleport us. Apparently he is an Abra. And that's going to bring us all the way down to his house at the bottom of the Poke Tower in Lavender Town. We're going to talk to him. We're going to get the Pokeflute, and then in my next episode, we're going to start progressing down to the south. And we're also going to do a lot more catching, and I'm going to actually trade quite a few more Pokemon over from Red to bolster my Pokedex a little bit. And we'll also see if we can catch a Snorlax. We need to at least catch one of them, but we can actually kill one of them if we want to. Or make it go back into the mountains, so to speak. So here we get the Pokeflute. A wonderful item, actually, beyond just waking up Snorlax. If you use it in battle, it actually wakes up all Pokemon. So we have no more use now for our awakening items. And we're going to end the episode here by catching a Cubone. So we actually need a name for Cubone, so if you'd like to name it, please let me know in the comments below. So as always, viewers, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see y'all next time. So long! Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please press like and leave a comment below. Please also subscribe to my channel and press the notification bell. See you next time!